What was I thinking? Not much probably. Who actually starts up building a Spitfire full scale in their own shed? You must be out of your mind. You must be a lunatic. It's not a simple project. It's mind-boggling. And yeah, as I said, you need to be having a screw loose. But hey, I've done strange things in my life, but not as strange as this one. I did my last walkthrough on my Spitfire project. I thought I'd just do an update. It's nice to see what's been done in the meantime. You can see the shape of the Spitfires taking place. I haven't closed in the whole thing yet because there's quite a few elements still to be added inside. You don't want to be cramped, so the wings are on. Last time they were not on. I haven't done the underside of the wings yet. Well, this one I have for a bit, but the other one I haven't. Got another little bit here, which is the propeller blades, the Hamilton 23E50 toothpick blade. You can here see the flaps. All nicely painted in an epoxy two-pot undercoat. There we see the tail wheel made by a local engineer, TME. They actually made my engine frame as well. This is not complete yet, just a bit of dry fitting. The oleo still has to be fitted, and I still have to find the oleo. Right, canopy in position. The dome that comes behind it is ready. I can pick it up. Other wing. Also being undercoated. This is the engine frame close by, made by TME. Those boys here in Taupo are pretty good. Got my attachments, aluminium attachments done as well. The 2024 T3 to attach the wings up to the fuselage with a 170mm thick Oregon pine from Canada. And this is the tailplane. Also got a bit of an undercoat. I created some lead weights there as a counterbalance for the tailplane. I started my Spitfire project with the first lockdown as a hunting and fishing guide. Because of COVID, all the tourists stayed at home. I had spare time on my hands, and I thought, hey, I might as well build a Spitfire. And fortunately my wife, Kate, said, you go for it. That's what I did. So I started building the Spitfire. Before I acquired the plans, I actually found the engine. Where I normally do my hunt guides, I came around across Colin, who runs the local rec yard next to the Laha, and he put me on to the Allison 1710/89 I've got now. I got that through Hamilton Tractor Parts, who put me in touch with Rob van Schinkel, who is a renovator, restorer of World War II engines. Although he says himself he's not a certified restorer. And when I visited him on a Saturday, he pointed out to the Allison. He said, that Allison is fully overhauled. The moment I touch the Allison, it will lose value. And I persuaded him to sell it to me. A week later he rang me, he said, Bart, I believe in your project, and I've got enough projects anyway, so yes, I will sell the Allison 1710/89 to you. After I got the engine, I acquired plans. I like to build in wood. I'm not good with metal, so that's a no-go for me. So I searched for plans that gave me the opportunity to build a Spitfire in wood. I didn't even know if it existed or not, but I came across the SAW plans, the Spitfire Aircraft Workshop, and they have plans to build a Spitfire out of wood, just like the Mosquito once was built in World War II. Then a friend of mine who was with us at that stage said, you need to be accurate. You need to get a CNC router. So a CNC router is basically a computer-driven router that's very accurate. And Kate said, if you're going to build a Spitfire, you've got to be as accurate as possible. That's what I've done. That's what I'm going to do. From the word go, I was determined to build a Spitfire on full scale. I was determined to get a Spitfire flying. Henceforth I obtained the engine quite early in the game as well. So there was no doubt in my mind that I was building a Spitfire that ultimately will be in the sky. So the version of my Mk IX is actually a TR9. TR9 standing for Training Mk IX. So the TR9s have a dual seat, dual control, double canopy. But mine will be a two-seater, dual control, single canopy. I'm not a pilot as yet, I've done 30 hours, but hopefully somebody can take me up and bring me down after I've done a few loops in the sky. I called my project Pegasus Spitfire, and it is a Mk IX, because I hail from Arnhem, and in 1944 the Pegasus Brigade tried to liberate Arnhem in an operation called Market Garden. Fortunately they were not successful, but I like to honor these people that tried to liberate Arnhem, and henceforth I chose the name Pegasus. Well, Allison is going to be lifted. I'm going to fit the engine frame made by TLE, and yeah, the tricky part is actually getting this thing in the air and see if our contraption will hold.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Don't want to be underneath the thing. No.
Put the ball in.
Well, we could, but
Oh, no, that's fine.
yeah,
Oh,
either way.
either way, yeah.
Go down a touch. Out towards me. Yep.
Oh, look at that!
Bloody hell. Oh! Make sure.
Yeah. So we test fitting the engine frame. The frame itself came in two pieces. The reason we test fitted is that the measurements were taken on site, then the measurements were taken to the workshop, and that's always a bit tricky if you make something with just based on the measurements and not can how to call that, measure again and again on your engine. So it's really important to test fit this now that all the holes line up. And guess what? They all line up. The major obstacle is the sheer size of the project basically. I've got 10,000 drawings, and if you try to learn all 10,000 drawings at once, it is not going to work. So you need to focus on just one particular part of your build. You've got to be patient, you've got to be accurate. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest challenges I will ever have in my life. With all projects, it's not a project just with the Spitfire, it's a project of building, and the more you build, the more room you need. I didn't have big sheds when I first started. All the components, all the ribs I made were in the hallway to a bedroom. I used the sunroom as my gluing room, and of course Kate said, this project is growing, maybe you should build something. So I had a carport which I built my fuselage in, then I put the sides in, then I put the concrete in, and then I thought, I need to build wings as well. Without wings, a Spitfire, any plane doesn't fly. So I actually built a wing compartment to start my wings. So I added 110 square meters onto it. So not only my project as a Spitfire grew, but also my buildings grew. So growing all the time. Beautiful. My Spitfire is about 65% ready. Most of the fuselage I've done. I've done most of the wing parts. I haven't done the underside of the wings yet. I need to leave spaces open because all the cabling needs to be put in place. The cockpit has to be put in place. The instrument panel has to be put in place, and all requires access. So I've done 65%. Yeah, and it's a work in progress. And I probably will spend another 2 years or even more to get it all done. Well, good morning. You can see Paul Waterhouse dusting off my 2023 T3 aluminium. Paul is my lame licensed aircraft mechanical engineer who's been with me since day one from the project. He's been inspecting the Pegasus Spitfire today as well. He's been here quite a few times, so it's always great to have somebody with a lot more expertise and understanding, knowledge about plane build, wooden plane build than myself. Paul built himself a wooden plane as well. What did you build? A camper?
Pete and Paul air camper.
Pete and Paul air camper, and it's flying, beautiful little machine. Yeah, so he's also really a fan with timber constructions for aviation, so great to have Paul here. When you talk to the CAA, which is the organization going over the aviation, I have to do about 80% of it all myself. And of course there are components in the build that require other expertise than I've got myself. Talking about electrical work, the hydraulics, but the CAA doesn't stipulate that all the work that I'm doing or somebody else is doing is going to be certified. Anybody can build a plane according to the CAA rules. You only have to find a test pilot that's willing to fly the Spitfire for 25 hours, or any plane for that matter, for 25 hours before it gets a certification and registration. What I've done voluntarily, I engaged the service of a lame licensed aircraft mechanical engineer, Paul Waterhouse from Hamilton, and he looks over my shoulder. He writes reports, he takes pictures, and he tells me if I do right or wrong. If I look at the plans and I'm not sure about certain things, I contact him, we discuss it, we come up with a plan, and that's how I've been building my Spitfire. So once I find a test pilot that's willing to fly my Spitfire, they know that Paul watched over my shoulders, he wrote reports, I keep invoices of the materials I use, so all aviation grade materials. Pictures, I used West System epoxy, which is used by the people in Ardmore who build the Mosquito there as well. So what's good enough for them is good enough for me, I reckoned. And yeah, that's how I'm building my Spitfire. No shortcuts. If it's wrong, it's going to be done again. I'll make sure it's flyable and it's safe flyable.
So I was introduced to Bart through the SAA movement, the Sport Aircraft Association, and Bart contacted me and told me he was building a Spitfire. And I have to say that when he said he was building a Spitfire, I thought he meant he was building a scale Spitfire, a kit set Spitfire. And this usually involves an automotive engine or a Rotax or something similar, even a standard aircraft. So my very first question to him was, nice to hear from you, Bart, what engine are you putting in it? And he replied that he was putting an Allison V1710 in it, which immediately got my attention because that's a real engine. So at that point, I decided that Bart was actually serious, and we better come and have a look at this and find out what's going on. So I've come down here to Kinloch a couple of years ago, I think, Bart.
Yeah, I think 2021 the first time.
Oh, yeah, could be. I can't remember how long ago it was.
2020 even, I think.
And Bart had a part of fuselage built and a few bits and pieces, and it has progressed remarkably quickly since then. So, yeah, a stellar project, a heck of a job, and it'll be great to see it finish one day.
I do have authentic Spitfire parts. One is the canopy slider that actually came from an original from a Spitfire with the registration RM906, who was shot down over Germany on the 25th of February 1945. The pilot, William S. Harvey, bailed out with a parachute, was captured by the Germans in German captivity for a month, escaped, walked through Germany at night, came into Holland, Winterswijk, and was helped by the Dutch to get back to his Canadian squadron. So that's one of the authentic parts I have, the canopy slider of the RM906. Of course, I do a lot of work on a Spitfire myself, but there's always people that help you. And I'll just give you an example. I got a phone call from Frank Deeth, who is actually a Spitfire builder using the same plans. He said, Bart, you need to ring Alan White. And Alan White is actually in South Africa. So I rang Alan, and Alan said, Bart, I've been following you on Facebook and you're doing a tremendous good job. I started 10 years before you, but you've done about 30 times more than I've done. I'm 82 and I'm not going to finish my project. I want you to have my instruments. And I said, how much? He said, no, it's a donation. Wow, I was gobsmacked, flabbergasted, all those words. So I tried to find a courier that could actually transport them from Western Cape to New Zealand, which was $1,000. Then I talked to my neighbour, Kevin, who's South African. He said, oh, I'm actually going to Port Elizabeth to my mum's 80th birthday. So if you can get it from Western Cape to Port Elizabeth, I'll bring it back. So $60 later in courier fees, and the next week I had it at home. So thank you very much, Alan White. Appreciate it very much. There are a lot more people in my build I haven't mentioned. And all those people I'm really, really, really grateful for. Stephen Scott, Canopy, absolutely amazing people that give me mental support, people that tell me where I can get things, and just people basically just supporting me by giving me a pat on my shoulder and say, you're doing a fantastic job, and that's perfect. Thank you all. Moving back to Holland is a step which I've not taken lightly. I'm going together with my partner Katie. It's not just about moving furniture. Moving a Spitfire requires far more attention. So you move a Spitfire in a 40-foot container, you have to make sure that everything is secured, so the Spitfire doesn't roam around. I've got a big engine going in as well. So that is the biggest challenge. Actually, that challenge is far bigger than trying to move your household furniture into a container. So that will be a challenge, and I will focus on it in the next year or so. Of course, moving the Spitfire from New Zealand to Holland is one big journey, but trying to find a location for the Spitfire, like a hangar or a big shed, to finish the project, because the project won't be finished in New Zealand, is quite challenging. And I like to find a hangar that is close to an airfield. It's not easy to find something like that in Holland, but I've been in contact with people in Hoogeveen, Jack van Egmond and Dennis Meinders. They replicated the Fokker D21. They know what it takes to make a replica. They know what it takes to maintain a World War II plane. They heard of my project. They're very enthused about it as well. So I've got good hopes, high hopes, that Pegasus will be find a new home in Hoogeveen. With any project, the last parts are the hardest. You see the end finish and you have to brace yourself not to rush it. You have to make sure that everything is okay, that everything is to aviation standards, and the last bits are always the hardest in anything you're actually planning to do, but they're worthwhile. It's just a matter of patience, basically. Well, people that are interested in the project can follow the project on Facebook. So it's called Pegasus Spitfire Mk IX, Mk9. I rather spend more time on the build than putting a lot of media out there about my Spitfire project. There's another reason. And that's why I started late by actually putting some on Facebook, is I wanted to be on a certain stage of my build. Because if you tell people you're building a Spitfire full scale, they say, oh yep, there's another dreamer there. But after I announced that I was actually building a Spitfire, I could show them that I was already on a long journey. And that actually made people believe more that yes, he can build a Spitfire and he can make a flyable Spitfire. And I will engage in more media engagement from now on to show the world that what I'm building is a world project and deserves all the attention out there. Also as an honor to all the Spitfire pilots that flew these beautiful machines in World War II. If people say we'll have instruments, because I only have 2/3 of the instrument yet, people have instruments that could fit in my Spitfire, they can always contact me on my Facebook page and say, Bart, I've got a compass, Bart, I've got sights, whatever. And although I've been living in New Zealand for the next year and a half, if they got it afterwards, when we live in Holland, the Facebook page is probably still the best way of contacting me. And even if you're around in New Zealand, Taupo area, or in the future somewhere in Holland, if you say, Bart, I really would love to see your project, just drop me a line. And of course, when the project is finished, if somebody says, oh, I would like to fly a Spitfire, there are possibilities. But just remember that fuel is not cheap. So I've got an 88 gallon going into my Spitfire. 88 gallons, 350 litres. Aviation fuel is about €4. So that's a lot of money. And you can only fly for an hour and 15 minutes. So if somebody wants to fly my Spitfire, I'd probably ask for a bit of fuel money. I'd like to give another view and walkthrough of what I've done so far in the meantime. As you can see, the canopy is upside down. That's because I'm fitting the sliders. This one is actually from that Spitfire that was shot down on the 28th of February 1945. I'm putting all the first layers of ply onto my underside of my wing. You can see all the ribs, all handmade. You can buy nothing off the shelf. And then you got the canopy. This is where the second person will sit. And this of course is the entrance of the Spitfire. Handmade, all of these, including the red crowbar. And what you heard coming down is actually part of the canopy slider. This is still left open, so we can still work inside it when I'm gonna put the seats in it, bomber seats. Starting to close in the back section a bit more, because I've got my tail wheel in situ. Not in situ, it's actually lock, stock and barreled with proper AN nuts, aviation grade hardware. I made a trim tab right there, functions really nicely like that. Part of the tailplane, working on my second flap, or my first flap actually. Yeah, all looking good. You can see there's quite a bit going on with my Spitfire, my Pegasus. When will Pegasus fly? Pegasus will fly when Pegasus fly. I don't want to say it's going to be finished on that and that date. So probably another 2, maybe 3 years. It's an organic project, so to speak. It will just grow and grow until it's finished. So I don't want to tell people it's going to fly that day. It will fly when it's ready. You need to be a madman for sure. But I just enjoy the project.